What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the absence, but it's been a little nutty. The holidays, my daughter's birthday, my 16-year wedding anniversary, it's been a lot. But I want to talk about something really important today, and that is it's here. The civil litigation workshop is done. It's ready for you guys. So we're going to cover 5 things in today's video. We're going to talk about enrollment, we're going to talk about delivery, we're going to talk about curriculum, we're going to talk about workshop materials, and we're going to talk about access. So if you are interested in enrolling in the civil litigation workshop and you're interested in knowing more about it before you enroll in it, then I want you to stick around for today's video. We're going to talk about those 5 things. We're going to cover all those things. I got my handy dandy notes right here because there's a lot to cover in today's video about this workshop. If you're excited, stick around, smash that subscribe button, or at least the thumbs up button, guys. Please support my channel. And let's go ahead and dive into things today. Okay. First things first, and that is enrollment. So enrollment begins sort of right now. I did quietly launch this to my members and my subscribers on my website because that's one of the perks of being an Arrow member is you get these exclusive invites to workshops like this. So those people actually got their invite last week. You're getting your invite right now. Okay, so you can go on www.arrowconsultants.solutions, go to events, and you can RSVP for that event. Now, tickets for this event have technically gone on sale at my website, but it actually doesn't open to the masses until December 17th. Okay, so let's talk about start date. The start date officially of the very first lesson is January 10th. But even though January 10th is the very first lesson, some of the content is going to be opened up starting January 8th. So if you are enrolled in the civil litigation workshop, then on January 8th, you will receive a portion of the workshop materials, things to get you started, information that you need to get started. You're going to get all of those on January 8th, and then January 10th is our very first lesson. So let's go into the second item, which is delivery. All right, let's first talk about the platform. The platforms that I'm using for the delivery of this workshop is the Thinkific platform along with the Zoom platform. Now let's talk about the fact that this is a hybrid learning experience. Now let me discuss what I mean about that. I needed to deliver this workshop in a method that was in this drip form content. It had to be over several weeks because quite frankly, if you lump all of this material up into one workshop, you're going to be in a workshop for about 9 hours. And that's a lot to dedicate to a workshop. So the workshop will be over a 5-week period of time. Most of those weeks, we will meet twice a week. We're going to do a lesson in the beginning of the week on Monday, and then on Thursday, we're going to do a tech lesson. I'll talk more about that in the curriculum here in a little bit. But let me explain more about this hybrid learning experience. So I have prepared some PowerPoint slides with the lesson, but I've also done all of the voiceover recording for those lessons because I wanted to deliver something the same time, consistently each time that I deliver this workshop. I'm not sure how often I'm going to deliver it before I run it on Evergreen in terms of a course, but I wanted to deliver this in a way that was easy on me and easy on you. Now, it's really hard to talk for really long stretches of time, especially for me. I got to have that water. And I didn't want to have any of those pauses during the delivery of the lessons in the workshop. So to keep that from happening, I pre-recorded those lessons. Now I will still be live. I will still be there in the workshop with you. I'm going to introduce myself. We're going to talk for a little bit in the beginning of the lesson, and then I'm going to play that recording, that PowerPoint presentation. And while that presentation is playing, I'm going to be taking questions from you. I'm going to be answering people in the chat. And after the lesson is done, we're going to have a big Q&A. We're going to summarize the presentation. We're going to talk a little bit more about our checklist, about our cheat sheets, and all of those good workshop materials. We're going to talk about that here in a minute as well. It's a lot of materials in this workshop, and I really feel like this delivery method and the drip form and the voiceover recording of the presentations and then me being live at the end of all of it, I really felt like that was the best delivery method for you. So let's go into curriculum. There's so much that I've packed into this curriculum. Again, and it's why I needed that hybrid learning experience, because I'm not going to be in a workshop talking for 8 to 9 hours. I mean, I just can't do that. So the very first lesson, which is on January 10th, we're going to, have some introductions. We're going to talk about how to navigate the workshop. We're going to go over workshop materials, and we're going to talk about the pleadings phase of the civil litigation assembly line. I mean, really, that's all it is. We're doing the same things over and over again. We're doing them in different cases at different points in time. And we just need to move this assembly line of this case along. And so it's really important for us as paralegals to understand where we fit in that assembly line, where we can be helpful, show initiative, be proactive. That's all about what this workshop is about. So we do not have a tech lesson later on that week, but the following Monday, we have another paralegal lesson. And each one of these paralegal lessons is about an hour long. So we're going to have a Q&A right after that, but you can probably account for at least an hour and no more than an hour and a half for each of these lessons. So the next lesson in week 2 is the written discovery phase. And that one's kind of a long one. It's probably one of the longest lessons because there's so much to go over in the written discovery phase. But what is coming up that Thursday is a special lesson, and that is going over Microsoft lists and indexing when we're working on civil litigation cases. Now, the Microsoft list tech lesson that we're going to do, all of the tech lessons are completely live. There aren't any PowerPoint presentations. It's just me showing my screen and showing what you can do in terms of indexing a law and using Microsoft lists for that. So one of the nifty little things that I did for the civil litigation workshop is I prepared all of these lists, all of these formatted lists that you can easily upload to Microsoft lists and use them to track things in your cases, and to do so very intuitively through the Microsoft 365 program. So if you have Microsoft 365, you have Microsoft lists, you're going to get a lot out of this tech lesson. But if you don't have Microsoft lists, you should still take part in this lesson, because I think you'll probably eventually have it at some point in time. But we just talk a lot about indexing. And so even if you don't have Microsoft lists, you're really going to benefit from all of the information regarding indexing, what you should be indexing, how to index it, how to track it, how to sort it, how to filter it, how to group by. And how to use it throughout the duration of the case to prepare for depositions, to prepare for motions, to prepare for trial, to prepare for mediation, things like that. After we're done with Microsoft Lists, which is on a Thursday, we're going to go into the next phase the following week. We're going to go into the oral discovery phase. After that, we're going to do another tech lesson, which is Adobe Acrobat Pro. This one is a big one because it's, I use Adobe Acrobat Pro every single day. It's vital to my day-to-day operations. It's vital to answering discovery. It's vital to preparing exhibits for motions and depositions. It's vital for preparing for trial. And so we're going to have a really deep dive, in-depth lesson on Adobe Acrobat Pro. So I highly encourage anybody who is enrolling in the civil litigation workshop have the Adobe Acrobat Pro installed on their computer in order to effectively work in this tech lesson, because what I want you to do is replicate what I'm doing on your computer. That's what this whole workshop is designed to do, to really replicate what it is that I do so that you can do it in the way that makes sense to you. I'm just showing you the possibilities. You choose what makes sense to you. But if you don't know what's out there, what Adobe Acrobat Pro is designed for, what it's used for, what it's capable of doing, then you're definitely going to benefit from that lesson. So after we're done with the Adobe Acrobat Pro lesson, then we're going to go into the next phase, which is really just working with experts, options for early resolution, and dispositive motions. So those are three things that, are vital to the industrial line. You need to know your options for early settlement resolution. You need to know how to work with experts. You need to know about dispositive motions, why we have them, what they're for, and how you can help. So after we're done with that lesson, of course, we're going into another tech lesson. And our final tech lesson is about Microsoft Word. When it comes to Microsoft Word, I am an expert formatter in Microsoft Word. It is important for me to understand how to properly format pleadings. It is important for me to understand how to insert a header, how to insert a footer, how to insert a footnote, how to insert a reference. It's important for me to know how to create a table of contents or how to create a Word index. We're going to use Microsoft 365's Microsoft Word for this tech lesson. But if you have Microsoft 2019, if you have Microsoft 2016, you should be able to still do everything that I'm doing. The one issue that you might have is doing the table of contents. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do that table of contents, but in Microsoft 365's Word, it's a whole lot easier. Okay, so after Microsoft Word, we're going into our final week of the workshop. We're going into final tips. We're going into our sort of wrap-up party, networking event, Q&A, and of course we're going to have a Q&A after every single one of these lessons, but we're going to do a big Q&A. I'm going to open up a bottle of wine. I hope you bring your own bottle of wine because I want to talk to all of you about what you learned, about what you hope will come out of this. I want to just sort of talk, as paralegals, and really listen to you about what your needs are and how you felt about the workshop, and just sort of have this workshop wrap-up party. Let's dive into item number 4 in this video, which is workshop materials. There is a ton of workshop materials. First of all, I have all of these indexes for you. I actually have 7 indexes for you that are divided between 3 different formats to give you any format I thought you could possibly need in terms of indexing anything in your file. We're talking pleadings, written discovery, document production, medical records request, liens documentation. I mean, there's just a ton in there. In addition to that, I've got a litigation checklist. We're going to go over each phase in the litigation assembly line, and I'm going to kind of guide you in that process of developing these standard operating procedures throughout the course of that litigation through this litigation checklist. I've got a couple of cheat sheets for you to sort of help serve as guides while you are working in the chaos. I mean, we need to really do our best to stay ahead of it, and sometimes it's really difficult to stay ahead of it if we don't know what's coming. We're going to talk about that a lot in the workshop, about what's coming and about how you can prepare ahead of time for everything that's coming. And I'm thinking that I might want to throw in an additional tech lesson about calendar management, and specifically for using Outlook. Now, I'm sorry for any of you guys who aren't using Outlook. I'm sure that you can adapt the lesson to, Google, G Suite, whatever it is that you're using. But calendar management is a really big deal. And you really need to be able to effectively learn how to manage your calendar. So I'm thinking that I might, want to throw in another tech lesson after I'm done with that final paralegal lesson. But we're going to talk about that in the live Q&A. You let me know now below in the comments, or you can let me know in the civil litigation workshop whether or not you want that additional lesson. I mean, gosh, after week 5 and lesson 8, you may be completely tired of me. Who knows? Okay, so in addition to the indexes and the cheat sheets and the litigation checklist, I also have all of these templates. So, you often refer to these templates to have, standardized letters, standardize your discovery, and all of that stuff. And sometimes it's really hard to find the words. I mean, you just sit there and agonize and analyze about your verbiage. So I cut that out for you. And I have developed all of these templates for you to download as part of the workshop materials. So you can just have a guide in terms of how to word all of these letters for everything that it is that we're doing to keep the needle moving forward in the general assembly line of civil litigation. The PowerPoint slides. So the PowerPoint slides will be ready for everyone after the lesson. After that lesson is given, then the PowerPoint slides are available for download as part of the workshop materials, but they are not available for download ahead of time because I don't want you to work ahead of me. I want you to stay with me. But all of the other workshop materials will be available for immediate download starting January 8th. So you might be a little overwhelmed by all of the materials that I'm giving you, but rest assured, we're going to talk about those workshop materials in the beginning. We're going to talk about those workshop materials throughout the course of this workshop. There's a lot of them, so I'm going to be mentioning them quite often. Okay, last but not least, the 5th item in this video, because you're probably sick of me by now, is access. So you pay the money to enroll in the class and you get 365-day access. That's 1 year access. And so I had someone email me and was like, Misty, what is up with that? What about a recording? What about lifetime access? Okay, here's the thing about the recording. This is going to be about 9 hours. I mean, just of what I've recorded thus far and what I expect to deliver in the live tech lessons. And on top of that, we're thinking about adding another tech lesson when we're talking about Outlook and calendar management. And it's just, I can't do it on a recorded playback. I mean, that is a really large download, and I don't want to host that on my website. And in terms of access, I am a course creator. I've kind of developed into one of these course creators, and you have to pay for the platform that the course is being delivered on. So that means that for that whole year, I have to pay for Thinkific and I have to pay for Zoom. And I have to pay for high level memberships on both of those platforms, and I've got to pay it for the entire year. Now, think about that. If I were to give you lifetime access to those things, then I'm going to be paying for those platforms for their lives or my life. And I'm just not willing to do that. I mean, it's several $1,000s per year. And I provided lifetime access to my Microsoft 365 course, and I regret doing it. I don't regret doing it, in terms of business and money and stuff like that. I'm glad people have it. But tech evolves, things change. Some of the items, can become obsolete. Thank goodness none of them are. But, I just think that to provide lifetime access for a platform that you're paying for, and I can't just turn it off. I have to actually delete the course. And then when I delete the course, then, people don't have access to it anymore, and I'm not having to pay for it anymore. So it's really difficult to give lifetime access to something like that. And it's really difficult to give a download and a playback recording of 9, 10, 11 hours worth of workshop material for the civil litigation workshop. Just can't do it. But you have access for 365 days, and you still have all of the workshop materials, and you still have the PowerPoint slides. So after a year, If you need another refresher, then comment, below and send me an email. Let me know, hey, Misty, we love this. Part 2, re-release it next year. And that's not to say that even if I'm saying you have 365-day access, if you purchase the civil litigation workshop now, that's not to say that during my second launch, you're not going to receive some sort of discount. You're not going to receive some sort of coupon code. By the way, there is no coupon codes for this civil litigation workshop right now. Sorry about that. Actually, I'm not sorry about that, but there isn't any coupon codes because I think that this workshop is incredibly low priced for the amount of content that I'm going to be delivering to you. And I know that the pandemic has been hard for a lot of us. And I know that for a lot of us, we are not paid what we're worth by any stretch of the imagination. And I just didn't want to price this course at something that was just going to be unreachable to a lot of paralegals that are still out there struggling or just starting or dipping their toes in the water or whatever it is. It takes you a while to get to the point where you're, making a solid, decent wage and I wanted to just make it affordable for people. So that's also why I did the 2 split payments. I thought maybe that might make it a little bit easier. This program isn't 2 months, it's 1 month. So that next payment, that second payment that you're going to be making, the workshop is going to be done by that point. But if that makes it more affordable for you, awesome. I'm glad I did it for you. All right, guys, I'm so thrilled to finally be bringing the civil litigation workshop to you. What are we at now? How many? Oh, 28 minutes. My God, I've been talking forever. I will let you go. You have better things to do. And lots of people are putting out vlogs, Christmas vlogs right now. I'm not one of them. Can't do it. Don't have the time to do it. We'll talk about my time in another video. But the civil litigation workshop is really for those early paralegals, paralegals who are struggling with case management, paralegals who are still students and getting ready to graduate and ready to go off to their first job. This civil litigation workshop is all about bridging the gap between college and firm. It's about teaching you practical things that you can learn and execute when you get to that job. It's ways that you can manage your cases, manage your time, and be invaluable and indispensable as a paralegal. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, good luck to you in all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs an amazing paralegal just like you. Have an amazing day, a wonderful weekend ahead of you, and I will see you guys back here on the next one. Bye, guys.